The lights dim slightly as the audience waits, unaware of the emotional storm about to unfold. A small figure walks onto the massive AGT stage, a 12-year-old boy with a simple guitar hanging from his shoulder. His shoes seem a little too big, his hands a little too small for the moment, but the quiet courage in his eyes is unmistakable. He takes his position in front of the microphone, gently grips the guitar, and tries to smile, but the nerves are clear, his throat tightens, and his fingers tremble slightly. Simon leans forward and asks his name. The boy speaks softly, almost as if the microphone needs to help his voice exist. When Simon asks why he chose this song, the boy hesitates, eyes drifting toward the floor. He takes a deep breath, and in a fragile, breaking voice, he says, "This song is for my dad and my sister, they both passed away last year." The entire room freezes. The judges go silent. The audience, once full of cheerful energy, instantly sinks into stillness. A woman in the crowd gasps. A man places his hand over his mouth. Even the crew behind the cameras blink slowly, absorbing the weight of his words. The boy doesn't cry. He stands there, holding everything in, like he has practiced being strong for a long time. For the first time, the crowd isn't just watching a contestant, they are witnessing a child carrying a story too heavy for his age. In that moment, before a single note is sung, he already has everyone's heart. The stage lights glow softly over him, almost like a spotlight of comfort, as if the world is telling him, "You're not alone anymore." The boy closes his eyes for a moment, takes a slow breath, and lifts his fingers to the guitar strings. The first soft chord echoes through the arena, and instantly the room feels different, quieter, heavier, waiting. His voice enters gently, almost like a whisper full of memories. It's not the voice of a trained professional, but something purer, raw, emotional, unfiltered. Every word sounds like it's coming from a place much deeper than a child should ever know. The lyrics speak of empty chairs at the dinner table, of laughter that used to fill the house, of promises whispered to the stars because the people he loves are no longer here. The camera pans across the audience, showing faces slowly breaking. A teenage girl in the front row wipes her eyes. A middle-aged man nods with his head down, fighting back tears. The judges don't speak, don't move, just listen. Heidi presses her hand against her chest. Sophia's eyes glisten. Even Simon, known for his silence during slow songs, keeps his eyes locked on the boy like he's afraid to miss a single moment. As the boy sings, something shifts. His voice stops trembling and becomes stronger, not loud, but full of emotion he can no longer hide. It feels like he isn't performing for an audience, but speaking directly to his dad and sister through every note. The guitar strums soften, and the depth of his voice fills the silence like a quiet storm. Every line is a confession, every melody a goodbye he never got to give. By the time he reaches the second chorus, people in the crowd are no longer just listening, they're feeling. The stage is no longer a performance space, but a place where grief and love are turning into music. Halfway through the performance, the emotion he has been holding inside finally breaks through. As he reaches the most personal part of the song, his voice cracks, and he pauses for the first time. His lower lip trembles, and a tear slips down his cheek, landing softly on his guitar. The audience collectively inhales, as if they are witnessing a moment too real to belong on a TV stage. The boy looks down, trying to steady himself, but the pain in the lyrics reflects exactly what his heart is carrying, and it becomes impossible to hide. The crowd doesn't stay silent, soft claps begin, not to interrupt him, but to remind him they are with him. Someone in the audience whispers, "You got this." Simon slowly nods with encouragement, eyes soft, leaning forward with the kind of respect he rarely shows. The boy wipes his cheek with the back of his hand, inhales deeply, and lifts his head again. When he continues singing, his voice isn't just steady, it's stronger, louder, determined. The sadness is still there, but now it's mixed with courage, like he's singing not from grief, but from love. The camera cuts to a woman, his mother, standing backstage with her hands over her mouth, already crying. The judges exchange emotional glances. Sophia shakes her head slowly, amazed. Heidi's eyes shine with unshed tears. Even Howie, often expressive and playful, looks down in silence, deeply moved. The song rises into its emotional peak, and it's no longer just a performance. It feels like the boy is releasing years of heartbreak in front of thousands of strangers who suddenly feel like family. Every note becomes a message, every tear becomes a prayer. The arena isn't just listening, they're healing with him. The final chorus approaches, and the boy's voice now carries a quiet power, like he has found the strength he didn't have when he first stepped on stage. He strums the last few chords with gentle precision, almost as if he's afraid to let the moment end. Then, as he reaches the final line, a line clearly meant for his dad and sister, he closes his eyes and holds the last note just a little longer than expected. It's soft, trembling, but filled with love. When the note fades, there is no music, no movement, no applause, just pure, overwhelming silence. For a full second, the entire arena forgets how to react. No one wants to break the sacred stillness left hanging in the air. The boy slowly lowers his guitar, breathing out the weight he's been carrying. His chest rises and falls, and for the first time, he allows himself to look at the crowd. His eyes are red, but there's relief in them. He did it. He said everything he needed to say. Then, like a slow wave, the audience rises to their feet. The silence explodes into the loudest standing ovation of the night. People aren't just clapping, they're crying, cheering, holding their hearts. One woman in the front row is openly sobbing. A man wipes away tears, shaking his head in disbelief. The judges stand too, but not with their usual smiles. This time, they're speechless. Simon looks down for a moment, clearly composing himself. Sophia presses a tissue to her eyes. Heidi mouths the words, "So beautiful." The camera focuses on the boy again. He's not smiling, he's not shaking, he just stands there, overwhelmed, knowing that for the first time in a long time, the world truly heard him. The applause continues, but Simon slowly raises his hand, signaling for silence. The crowd quiets down, still emotional, still wiping their eyes. He looks at the boy with a softness rarely seen from him and says, in a voice almost as gentle as the song itself, "What you just did wasn't a performance, it was a gift. A message of love that reached every single one of us." The boy swallows hard, trying not to cry again. Before he can respond, Simon steps forward, and with no dramatic pause, he presses the golden buzzer. The entire arena erupts. Golden confetti bursts from above, floating like falling stars. The boy looks up, stunned, unsure if this is real. His guitar drops slightly from his hands as tears flood his eyes again, this time, not from pain, but from something he hasn't felt in a long time, joy. His legs weaken for a moment, and he covers his face, overwhelmed. His mother rushes onto the stage, embracing him tightly. The judges clap with wet eyes, and Simon, surprisingly emotional, stands with his arms folded but his expression soft and proud. The audience cheers louder and louder, not just for a singer, but for a child who turned heartbreak into hope. The boy looks into the raining confetti, lifts his face toward the sky, and whispers something only the camera can catch. "I hope you saw that, Dad. I hope you saw that, sis." In that moment, the entire world feels connected to his story. He is no longer just a contestant, he is a symbol of love, loss, and unbelievable strength. The music swells, the crowd chants his name, and the stage becomes a place where grief and glory finally meet in the most beautiful way.